Hello and welcome to my Community Needs Assessment presentation. This is Nutrition on the Trail. First, a little bit about me, your presenter. My name is Megan Schmidt and I'm a Master's of Science in Applied Nutrition student at the University of New England in Portland, Maine. For this project, I wanted to combine my education and my passion for nutrition with my love for hiking and my hope to one day complete the Appalachian Trail. So a community needs assessment identifies the strengths and resources available in a community to meet the needs of a specific population. Its purpose is to identify the most pressing nutrition-related problems in this case, to understand the underlying causes to these problems, and to develop effective solutions. The community of interest in this project are females between the ages of 18 and 35 years old. They're long-distance hikers of the Appalachian Trail, which makes them ultra-endurance athletes. A little bit of background information about the trail. The Appalachian Trail, or the AT, is a 2,190-mile scenic trail. Through hiking refers to completing this trail in its entirety from one point to the next. The southernmost point is Springer Mountain in Georgia, and the northernmost point is Mount Katahdin in Maine. This takes approximately 5 to 7 months to complete in its entirety, and because it takes so long to complete, resupplying is necessary. So there's two main ways to resupply. The first would be to plan ahead and ship food packages to yourself along points in the trail, so at post offices or general stores. The other option is to purchase food from food retailers in trail towns. So these are towns that are close to the trail, walking distance, or a short drive away. These food retailers would include grocery stores, gas stations, convenience stores, and general stores. So the problem is that there's little to no professional resources educating long-distance hikers about nutrition on the trail. There's also a limited availability of nutritionally adequate food items along the trail. So these food retailers are typically selling things like ramen noodles, pasta size, macaroni and cheese from a box. They are lightweight foods that are typically calorically dense but don't contain a lot of vitamins and minerals. So related causes to these problems would be the lack of scholarly literature and research conducted in this community. There's also a limited nutrition education in the towns surrounding the AT. The importance of assessing these problems is because there is such a low success rate for through hiking already. That's a mere 20%. So in 2016, an estimated 3,377 people attempted a through hike on the AT, yet only 685 completed their goal. These hikers are facing other challenges as well, such as Lyme disease, injury, and just the sheer difficulty of hiking the Appalachian Trail. So eliminating or decreasing nutrition-related problems or concerns can keep these hikers healthy and success for their long-term goal. So primary data collection was done through a key informant interview. This is an effective method of collecting primary data, and it's advantageous because they are typically inexpensive, quick, and useful methods for obtaining qualitative data. A key informant is an individual who has been identified as having specific knowledge about the topic of interest. And the purpose of a key informant interview in general is to produce data that can be used to form a better understanding of a problem that a community is facing. So the key informant in this interview was Jessica Mills. She has an online presence as an experienced through hiker. She completed the Appalachian Trail in 2015 and the Pacific Coast Trail, Pacific Crest Trail, in 2017. That's from Mexico to Canada through California, Oregon, and Washington. So she has a YouTube account set up and a blog as well. That's Homemade Wanderlust, as you can see. And I selected Jessica because of her willingness to share her experience and educate others on long-distance hiking. So I reached out to her via email. She had an email provided on her blog, and after a few emails back and forth, we set up a telephone interview which was conducted on December 1st, 2017. So the key findings from this interview, Jessica's primary concern was the lack of vitamin and mineral consumption while on trail. Her other concerns included consuming adequate calories to maintain her weight and consuming adequate protein. She gave me an example of a typical day of eating, so all of her meals, snacks, frequency, quantities, and I used the USDA Super Tracker in the interactive DRI for healthcare professionals to find if she was lacking in any of her macro or micronutrient consumption. I found that she was significantly low in potassium and choline consumption, and she was significantly high in sodium and added sugar consumption. This is mostly in part to the fact that the diet is almost entirely processed, packaged foods with a lot of added sugars, a lot of added salts, and minimal micronutrients. So a secondary data collection was also performed. This was much more difficult to come across. There is very limited research that has been done on Appalachian Trail hikers, specifically when it comes to nutrition. So I took resources that were about long distance hikers in general, extreme endurance athletes and their nutrition needs. But one example was the 2016 Appalachian Trail Thru Hiker Survey. This collects basic hiker demographic information, hiking experience, budget, gear, etc. But the pertinent data to this community needs assessment was the age distribution of thru hikers, the percentage of women hikers, resources used for thru hiking, so guidebooks, workshops, YouTube accounts, and resupply strategies. The key findings from the secondary data collection, specifically this survey, was that women comprise 42% of hikers in the survey, which is a good percentage. Typically only 20 to 30% of all thru hikers are women. The average age of hikers in the survey was 31 years old, with a median age of 27 years old. The average number of days to resupply was 4 plus or minus 1 day, and approximately 2/3 of hikers primarily bought their food in towns rather than using mail drops. And the most helpful resource for long-distance hikers was an ET guide that was written by an experienced thru hiker, but Facebook groups, YouTube videos, and Instagram pages, these electronic platforms, were all cited as helpful or inspiring as well. So in conclusion, the plan of action really is for further research investigation, because there is so little research conducted on this community, to establish an online educational nutrition resource for thru hikers that can be utilized before, during, and after their backpacking trip, to create a collaboration of nutrition professionals and experienced thru hikers, and to develop a campaign that encourages food retailers and trail towns to make more nutritionally adequate food items available to their customers. So thank you so much for joining me. I have my references listed here. I appreciate your attention viewing this Community Needs Assessment, Nutrition on the Trail. Thank you.